Okay, so in the last video, I actually got the orientation of, when I parameterized C2, I got the orientation wrong when I did my R2. So let me explain what happened. So here's our ellipse up here. We parameterized like this. This was fine. And then we defined our R2 to be this guy, which is fine. And we said from 0 to pi over 2. There's a slight problem here. So in particular, if you put in 0 in place of t here in here, so it'd be 4 cosine of 0, 3 sine of 0. Cosine of 0 is 1, so this guy will end up being 5i sine of 0 is 0, so this ends up being minus 2 here, and that becomes 5 minus 2. So in particular then, 5 minus 2 would be our r of 0, r2 of 0. And if you stick in pi over 2 into my r2 function up here, so put pi over 2 in place of t, you'd have 4 cosine pi over 2 plus 1, pi over 2 in place of t over here in the j component, you'd have 3 sine pi over 2 minus 2. Now cosine of pi over 2 is 0, so this just becomes I here. Sine of pi over 2 is 0, so this will become, sine of pi over 2 is 1, so this will become 3 minus 2, so this will be 1, so this will be j here, so you got 1, 1. So pretty much up here then, this would be R2 of pi over 2. So if you notice then, actually we'd have the wrong orientation. If I integrated from 0 to pi over 2, it'd be going along this way, it'd be going counterclockwise. But I wanted, C2 is going clockwise from 1, 1 to 5, negative 2. So therefore, we have the orientation backwards. Okay, so to fix that, so we have the wrong orientation here. So to fix it, so the integral over C2 then of my FDR, so doing this line integral. To fix the orientation from from our R2, the way we parameterized it, instead of going from 0 to pi over 2, we can actually go then, if I go down here, we can go from pi over 2 to 0. That would fix it, because then pi over 2 would be starting here and 0 would be starting here. So it'd be going this way. This would be going from pi over 2 to 0. It'd be the same guy inside here then. But then I can switch these around, and that would introduce a minus sign. Then it'd be the same as we did in the last video, right? This part here, this integral part. So this integral part we found is negative 73 over 3. So the only difference is this time to be a minus sign in front. So it'd be 73 over 3. And I believe then the answer to, so if you add the answers you got then from the last video, along with this one, I think the whole thing becomes 0 then. So the answer for the question should have been 0. So the line integral around this whole closed curve should be 0. Okay, so that's the slight error I made. But so be mindful of that when you do your questions, to make sure you have the orientation correct. Otherwise you'll be off by a minus sign if you get the orientation switched around. Okay, so that's it.